Welcome, everybody, back to the Joe Lee podcast, the only podcast that acknowledges Aaron Rodgers as the owner of the Chicago Bears. I'm Joseph, and as always, I'm joined by...
Lee. Hey, how's it going, everyone? I like Rogers. I hate him so much to a point, but now I thought it was hilarious. What do you think about what he commented after he scored a touchdown?
I think the owner of the Chicago Bears went on record and said that someone needed to kick Aaron Rodgers' butt for saying that. And I laughed so hard. But yeah, it was hilarious. And I've seen some Bears fans and on Twitter or on YouTube comment sections, and they've been saying, yeah, Aaron Rodgers kind of owned us his entire career. So... yeah, it's pretty funny.
And the funny thing is that some Bears fans, they're really upset. They were like, why is he so mean? Rodgers knew that he owned us. What did he have to publicly say out loud, right? But granted, you see, I have seen pictures on Twitter where Bears fans were giving him the middle finger and stuff like that. So I don't know, fun a viewing experience. I think it's a lot of fun. You don't see a lot of quarterbacks that expressive about the game, right? They get, this is highly emotional game, emotionally charged game. And so I thought it was really funny that he just goes oh, I still own you guys. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was both teams trying to recover. I guess Green Bay's actually pretty good. And the Bears were trying to get there, but now they're 3-3, so... thanks to Aaron Rodgers, but we'll get more into that. Actually, we're not going to get into it because that was last week. But yeah, interesting week in sports. We had a really close Thursday night football game. We had just a weird Sunday morning, as for the Chargers. The Niners were had their bye week, so didn't get to see them too much in action. And then I also watched the Buffalo and the Tennessee Titans game after I was out of my class. So I do have a little bit to talk about there. But yeah, I guess we'll get into the main topic for today. And that is that Tua is rumored to be traded for Deshaun Watson. And again, these were just heavy rumors going into today. We're filming a little later than usual, but yeah, the rumor was that the Titans were going to trade with the Dolphins for Tua. And then there was another wild rumor that there might have been a triple trade with the Washington football team. But then later on during the evening, it was debunked that Washington football was not trying to trade for Tua Tagovailoa, and so now it's just the Texans and the Dolphins trying to trade. And I think they're in a weird situation because the Texans don't really show any interest in bringing Deshaun Watson back from the bench, and Tua seems to be struggling in Miami right now.
So, I was just thinking why not just go what the football team has Fitzpatrick, right? I mean, maybe Tua might as well just join him.
Yeah, well, they have Heineke, and then they have Fitzpatrick. But I was thinking that Tua would be kind of he plays kind of similar to Heineke, so that's why what was there to gain even if it was true? Heineke and Tua are kind of similar in the sense that they run a little, but they mostly do passing stuff. So it's to me, it didn't make too much sense. This trade between Miami and Houston makes more sense because they're both in a situation where Deshaun wanted to be in Miami, and Tua didn't want to leave Miami, but the Texans need a quarterback right now, and they really don't have one with Tyrod Taylor gone.
Mm-hmm. So, but it's another also would you say that Tua is playing pretty bad right now?
It's hard to tell because last season they were pretty decent. Their record was 11-6, if I am correct, if I'm recalling right. So they did show that they were a good team. And I'm not sure if that was Tua or not. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's all on Tua. I think a lot of like their key players are kind of like lacking. So like I said, I think it's mostly like the Dolphins being kind of incompetent versus Tua being bad.
Right. And then we were chatting earlier before we record this thing. It's that, do you think that it's gonna be worth it to actually trade Deshaun Watson? Like I mean, you're not only giving away Tua, right? You're giving like maybe first couple rounds of picks to Texans.
Yeah, they wanted Tua and a first, one or two first rounds. So that would be, I could see Tua and a first round pick, but I couldn't see Tua and like two or more first round picks. I think this is just way too much.
Yeah, yeah. Especially it looks like the Dolphins is trying to rebuild their team, even though they were pretty good last season. But now I'm kind of like thinking about, are they trying to rebuild? You know?
Yeah. Another thing that was brought up with these trade rumors was the fact that Houston is still employing Deshaun Watson after all his accusations, and we don't know too much about it other than it was like a lot of women that accused him, and he's in court for it currently, trying to resolve that. And but then people are bringing up like, why is John Gruden not employed if he also did like, I guess, bad things? And to that, I'm trying to like sound the least offensive, but unfortunately, the problem is that Deshaun Watson has a lot of accusations with no proof, while John Gruden, well, he didn't have any accusations. They just proved that he was a racist and a homophobe and a misogynist or whatever. So, yeah, interesting situation. Yeah, if it's proven that Deshaun Watson did do all these things, then yeah, he should be, fired, let go, or not allowed to play football anymore. Because, like we said in previous weeks, there's no space for that type of behavior in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting, like if they actually end up trading and then it turns out like Deshaun did all these things, like the Texans will have messed up, or I guess Miami will have messed up once again by trading all those things for a player that isn't going to even be in the league.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Now, let's say if Deshaun Watson actually was found guilty, and I mean, what is the league gonna do? Maybe just like kind of like suspend him for one season.
No,
I
I
don't
think
know.
they would fire him. I don't if he is found guilty, with how I guess cancel culture is right now, and the amount of women that I guess are suing him,
Yeah,
it would be kind of hard to try to keep him in the league.
yeah, just for that public image, right? Like you want to have a good PR relation, public relation with the society, right? With people.
Yeah, and it's like weird. Like you would think that with all like the fame and the fortune, that like you would be cautious of like what you do on and off the field. So I don't know. Just
Well, I think sometimes people tend to be a little bit less careful once they have a lot of money. Well, not always, not every rich people would do that, but I'm just saying that
no.
sometimes with a lot of monies, you tend to be a little bit less careful about how you spend your money.
Yeah, there's a lot of players who you never hear about anything because they keep most of their life relatively private, and
Right.
good for them. Good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, moving on to less depressing news. Actually, no, not less I guess less depressing. Anywho, the Chargers versus the Ravens.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about this game because I noticed that you were really frustrated on Sunday. I saw the score briefly. I was like, well, as long as they keep the game close, they still have a chance. I didn't really follow that game that closely because, well, I'm not I'm not in front of the TV or the cell phone, so I don't know. But yeah, tell us something about this game. What is memorable about this game, and what stood out the most to you about what Chargers should do uh, in next week because they are not playing this week, right?
Right. They have a bye for week 7.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just start by saying that at first I thought that this game would be relatively close, like I said last week, and I even had the Chargers winning,
Me too. I was saying the
which
same thing.
turned out to be completely wrong. But I will say that the Chargers just didn't seem to show up. Like, there's nothing they did like worked out, and from the start of the game you could tell because like they went 3-and-out and they punted right away, and I was like, again, like they did this last week against the Browns, and it looked pretty bleak then. So then coming back to this game, they go 3-and-out, and then they punt, and so basically like for the first quarter nothing happens, and then they managed to score at the beginning of the second quarter a touchdown, and then the kicker misses. So Vizcaíno goes far left, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's gonna be one of those games. So pretty much like Baltimore scored like almost every drive that they had. Maybe there was like one to like there was 2 to like 5 drives where they didn't score. But yeah, that offense was pretty good. The defense was trash for us. Justin Herbert, I think, only did like 130 yards, which is not great.
It's almost like he was barely on the
he was
field.
hardly on the field. That's because their running game's pretty good. Their running back's pretty decent, and Lamar is, like I said last video, he's playing at an MVP caliber level, and it shows with the type of game he played today. He was good on passing. He was good on running. There's just nothing we could do about it. And honestly, I hope this is a kind of a learning lesson for our new head coach, Staley, and that he learns that like, run offense does matter. Like he says, okay, well, we can give up run offense, but we can't give up like the pass. But I feel like as good of a sentiment that is, because not everyone has a Derrick Henry, not everyone has a Lamar. The unfortunate situation is when you run into a team like Tennessee or Baltimore, you just can't ignore the run game. Your defense has to be prepared for it, and like it showed this game, like if you're not ready for the run, then you're gonna get completely outclassed, and that's kind of like what happened this week.
Yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. Like I really love seeing those running games. But yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting because like the Baltimore defense, I watched the little bit of the Colts and the Ravens because I wanted to get acquainted with how the defense played, and I was fairly certain that Justin Herbert was going to be able to make some scores here, but for some reason the Baltimore defense came back from that kind of bad game with the Colts. The Colts were like, in pieces when they played the Ravens, and they managed to keep the score relatively close. So the defense wasn't doing too much in that game. But then magically, like, they show how elite they can be, and they stop everything that Herbert is doing. Like, I was so baffled about how this defense shapeshifted into a decent one.
Yeah, it's just like they have like a surging offense and defense. Like, where did it come from? Right? They suddenly like I almost feel like Ravens like came up from out of nowhere. Well, we knew that they're decent, but then it's. I personally didn't expect them to be like this good. Like what? This is like the 6th week, and this is the 7th week. They're pretty decent, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's not much to say here. The Chargers really just didn't show up. I don't know if because it was the time zone or because of the weather or just a bad week. I'm gonna say it was just a bad week. Heading into
but you can play on the weather too.
Yes. Yeah,
It's always the weather, man.
I think heading into the bye, they really need to like work on that run defense. And another thing is that we've actually lost all the starters for the right side of the O line. So
Mm.
Ade Ibushi and Brian Bulaga are out for us, and their replacements aren't very good. Like at first, it seemed like we had relatively good depth at the line, but against the Baltimore defense, it just didn't seem like the right side was holding. If you go back and look at all the sacks, they all came from the left side. Rashawn Slater did a fantastic job on the left. Corey Linsley was doing fine, holding down the center. I don't remember what the guy in between them is called. He's just not that memorable. But it seemed like the left side is doing pretty good, and the right side is just letting all these rushes coming in. So, yeah, if you go back and watch most of it, that's where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, the Niners had a bye week, and who you guys got next week?
We got the Colts.
The Colts. Interesting.
Yeah, we're playing at home, and we're looking for the first win of the season at home. It's sad. We were last week in a row at home. And so we're playing again at home. So a lot of saying that I don't think the Niners will win this against the Colts. And then I'm just like, why? Like, why do you say that? Like, come on. Like, but I think we have a good chance. Right? Even though people say like, oh yeah, we're gonna lose, but I think the Niners have a chance if they could play a decent run game, even passing game. At this point here, I don't really know if they're good at running game or passing game. I don't really see a lot of running game. So maybe they'll do something different this week. But they're playing at home this Sunday against the Colts. Jimmy G is going to start this Sunday. Trey Lance didn't practice. So we'll hope the best. Hope that Jimmy will will score a few touchdowns. Throw to the right players for touchdowns, and then win this game. They really need a win here.
Yeah, and from what you saw, I guess now 2 weeks ago, who would you rather start if both were healthy? Trey Lance or Jimmy G?
I think this is a really hard thing to say. I will play both, to be honest, because I think Trey Lance really needs a lot of rep. Like, he needs a lot. But is this the time to really do him there? And, if things don't work out, let's say, I would say if the Niners start losing, like if they lose another 3 or 4 games, I would say, okay, let's scratch out Jimmy, like Jimmy said, and then come and play here and there. But let's have like a Trey Lance and start and coming to play, like, I don't know, like week 9, week 10, and so on and so forth. If that's what happened, right? If like we keep losing games, then might as well just have like Trey Lance come in and get more reps and be ready for next season. But other than that, like from the winning perspective, I think you do need both of them to be playing the same game. Like you sub one out, sub another one in. They just have to take turns. I don't see. It's really hard for me to, at this point, to see that Jimmy will be able to complete the entire 4 quarters. That's just kind of the sad reality. But I think he's just not a mobile quarterback, and he will be sacked. And so there are going to be times where we feel like, I think there's going to be times where I feel like Trey Lance is going to be very valuable during the game. So I would definitely say, like, still have that dual quarterback in a game. I think that's still the way to go.
Excuse me. I agree. I think that sort of happened last season with the Chargers, but it was more inadvertent. Like, they wanted to start Tyrod Taylor, I guess, to try to make the season, and then they realized that Justin Herbert was really good, so they started him after week 2. But that was because Tyrod got his lung punctured, which is
Ooh.
Not great. You'd never want to see that, but yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is that because Trey Lance is hurt, like right, so he has like a left knee sprain. So you kind of want to protect him too. Like you don't want to put him out there to get him injured more, right? Because you need him. You know for sure next year you're gonna start him as a quarterback, right? So you need to make sure that he's healthy, right? So as much as a lot of people say, yeah, we should just keep Trey Lance there. I'm just like, well, he's hurt. Like, you need to protect him. Like if you don't, then you just waste your first 3 round pick to get him.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with trading Jimmy G. Like you can always get at least some pretty good players out of him.
Yeah.
That's my idea. Like just reinforce Trey Lance and give him either a decent O-line or some more weapons on wide receiver. That way he can do his thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm discovering as I watch more football is how important the O-line is. Because you could have decent receivers and, still have a good game if you have a really good O-line. But if you don't have an O-line and you have weapons, like it's just really bad.
Yeah, you always start seeing like quarterbacks running for their life.
Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to remember that Super Bowl from last year.
Yeah. All right, so let's touch up on some games that we watched this week. I watched the Thursday night game a little bit after my class. I watched the Bucks versus Philly. And I watched more the end of it, the fourth quarter, because that's really when it was interesting. And, Philly was really close to beating Tampa Bay. Unfortunately, they gave Tom Brady enough time to score at the last minute. And there was also some interesting taunting calls. The most memorable one was... So basically, one of the players from Philly tackles a wide receiver out of bounds, and they both kind of get up, and then the Philly defender just stands there, and he's kind of flexing a little bit, which is it's all right. But the Buccaneers guy gets up and he charges in with his helmet into the guy's shoulder pad, and they call taunting on Philly, and I was like,
we didn't do anything.
Like if anything. There was unsportsmanlike conduct on Tampa Bay. And okay, there was a taunting call on Philly, which I don't think taunting calls should even exist. But those two should have offset. But, because we need to keep the game interesting, or we need to give Tom Brady an advantage, allegedly. That's a joke. Yeah. Then they give it to Philly, so then it's a 15 yards closer to the goal, to the goal or the touchdown, and it's just dude, why would you call a taunting penalty at such a key moment of the game? It doesn't make any sense. You're really ruining this for another team when they've been actually doing pretty good at stopping this other team. So it's ref ball at the last minute. So, if it was the third quarter, the second quarter, or, the first quarter, I wouldn't care. Even if it was the fourth quarter, if it was the beginning or the middle of it. But with 1 minute to go, you're going to call a taunting penalty? And then after that, you have Antonio Brown. I think he catches a 15-yard ball, and then he flexes in front of everybody, and I'm
he didn't get a taunting goal.
That's not a taunting penalty. Come on, dude. You gotta call this even. You can't be choosing one side over the other.
Well, they gotta be smarter. They need to be like Aaron Rodgers, just taunting to the fence. You don't get called. Hey, Aaron Rodgers is smart about it, so I guess now the players will learn. They're all just taunt. They just taunt to the fans. That's it. You will not get called for that.
Yeah. All right. So that leads us to the game you were watching for some reason in the morning, Miami versus
Dude, I had no idea. Somehow Sunday, and If you guys are not aware of this, there are quite a few NFL games are playing in London this season. I don't know why they picked London. They could pick elsewhere, like in Germany or something like that. I think they talk about playing somewhere in Germany, but right now it's London. And this the games happen so early in the morning, like 5:30 in the morning, Pacific time, I guess. There are quite a few. Like I woke up super early, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna follow up the score. Jacksonville and Miami Dolphins. Um, I'm not really rooting for any of those teams. They're just not playing well. But interestingly, guess what? Jacksonville Jaguars, they got their first win of the season
Yes,
against the
sir.
Dolphins. That was amazing. I was rooting for them. And the whole sequence was kind of funny. They won because of the field goals. Okay. So the kickers was amazing. That was the reason they won the game. Other than that, it's like, and both sides are about the same. You were talking about how good each side is. Well, they're about the same.
You can say they're both trash.
No, I'm trying to be better because like I don't want to. I just don't know. Like you could tell. Like I don't know what was Urban Meyer thinking. Like you could tell. Like his face is always like that. And there's like, do you not care or like what is in your mind? Like Urban Meyer. Like did you have a better idea about how you want to run this offensive scheme or like what do you want to do? Like even when the game is tied, his face is the same. I think even when they won, his face is the same. Was the same. This is like, dude, what's going on here?
I doubt Urban Meyer is even actually coaching. Mike, again, tinfoil hat on. I think someone else is coaching them right now. I think
So he's just kind of like the puppet.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's just like the face right now, and like all the other NFL guys are coaching the rest of the team. Just my theory. Again, tinfoil hat theory. There's no like concrete evidence that that's what's happening.
Yeah, because I'm just feeling like it was great that they got the first win. I actually wanted to win. Like it's like it sucks to be like what 0-6 or 0-5. Like that's the worst position to be in, right? We have one team that's right. That's like winless right now. There's only one team that's winless. So that was great that they got that particular win. And that was wild, right? Because it comes down to 1 second, right? So the Jaguars win with 1 second left.
Otherwise, you would have to watch overtime with these two mid teams, and that
it was really
punishment.
it was terrible to watch. Like the run game that the Jags had was pretty decent, but it's just somehow like I remember they fumbled a few times. They lost their ball. And then so like I was just like, dude, come on, like get it together. But somehow I keep like messed up this match with the Seattle and Steelers because they have the same score. And it comes down to a field goal kick as well, right? So I got them confused. But overall, I thought it was an okay game. It got more exciting towards the end when they were tied up, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Well, let me see. Okay. So I guess I'll try to talk real quick about some of these other games. Just small summaries of them. Let's see. Kansas City, Washington. Kansas City is really showing that their defense sucks and that any team with the half decent offense can keep up with them. Unfortunately, this wasn't the case because Washington is struggling with their offense and they seem to have an all right defense, but the score doesn't reflect that. So 31-13. I'm not surprised. Kansas City needs to fix their defense before we get closer to the playoffs.
I do think that their offenses have some a little bit issues there. I think people were noticing that Mahomes wasn't being himself or something. Like he do interceptions.
He supposedly has an ankle injury.
Man, yeah, maybe that's what. Yeah.
All right, L.A., New York. Nothing to talk about here. It was a blowout, 38-11. Just New York being New York. Houston, Indianapolis. Oh my goodness, the Colts destroyed this team. They only allowed them a field goal, which is kind of sad.
But if you look at the score, like the record, Colts is not even that good.
No, which means that Houston is in shambles.
Pretty bad. Right.
Yeah. The Bengals versus Detroit. This actually is interesting because now the Bengals are 4-2 now, which is weird. I guess Joe Burrow is changing the culture over there, which is a good thing. I like more competitive. The more competitive the teams are, the better football we get.
Exactly. Yeah.
Unfortunately, Detroit is not looking great. And despite all the crying their coach did last week, there was a small thing that said that Jared Goff needs to do more for the team. So I don't know if that is implying that he's lazy. I didn't read the article, but the headline was, eye-grabbing at most. Maybe it's out of context, so I won't say too much about Jared Goff, other than he probably should be a backup quarterback. I don't think starter suits him anymore. The Green Bay Packers at Chicago. So everyone was talking about I'm your owner, or I've owned you for all these years, and it kind of shows in the score, 24-14. Chicago was trying to make a comeback. They had the 3-2 record last week, but now they're 3-3. So I don't know. They seem decent at some times, and they seem bad at the others. We'll see how that develops. Chargers, Baltimore, we already talked about it. Minnesota and the Cardinals. I don't have much to say here. I'm not surprised they went into overtime. I think we during our predictions last week, we said it could go either way, and it looked like it could go either way regardless, because again, it went into overtime.
Right.
Arizona, Cleveland. I'm not surprised by the score here either. Cleveland has a ton of injuries. Like, half of their offensive starters are out, so.
Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield is injured too.
Yeah, he's not starting this week.
Yeah, he has that left shoulder injury, and it's really bothering him. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if the Browns can make a comeback. It'd kind of suck if they didn't. Denver and the Raiders, 34-24. Actually, you watched this game, so.
I kind of follow it. I was just kind of follow the score and surprised that with Goodenless Raiders, and they won. They were leading the Broncos very early in the game, and there was just no way for Broncos to win this game. And we were kind of laughing about it, right? We say it would be funny if Raiders actually lost this game, right? But then they were able to hold on to the lead and win the game.
Yeah, the reason we said it was funny is because the Raiders always start out the season strong, and then they start collapsing after a while.
Yeah, totally. It's hilarious.
Dallas Cowboys at New England, and did I watch a little bit of this? No, I didn't. But it went to overtime, and so it must have been relatively close. Yeah, not much to say here. All right. Seattle Seahawks at Pittsburgh Steelers. Both these teams looked terrible. Yeah, I did watch a little bit of it, but my goodness. Choke after choke after choke.
Going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a good day if you have to watch one of these teams play. TJ Watt with the turnover in overtime saved the Steelers. And that was pretty much it. Yeah. Buffalo versus Tennessee Titans. 31
tell me about this game,
34.
You watched this game, right?
It was awesome. It was just pretty much a classic shootout between these two teams. Derrick Henry brought some life back into this offense, and Ryan Tannehill was looking pretty good. He was completing a lot of his passes, making some good throws. The Bills were being the Bills, and good, and then it came down to the last minute, and the Bills had the ball, and they ran it all the way up to the 1, and Josh Allen did this thing where like he ran it before the last like first down. He ran to get the first down, and when he was like, he got tackled, and he landed really weird. Like, he tried hurdling over a dude, and he was like half a yard short, and so they were going for it, and it was already fourth down, and there was 1 yard left, literally.
Oh
and
my goodness!
One of the tackles for one of the old linemen for the Titans literally like stopped Josh Allen's quarterback sneak, and it turned the ball over to the Titans, and they had like it was like maybe a minute 20, and so that was enough time to be in victory formation. So they took the knee after that, but it was to the last second pretty much. So it was quite the game, and there was no way that they would have they would have what's it called, tied the game with a field goal, so they had to go for it.
Yeah.
Or actually, they were trying to not go into overtime.
So like by scoring a touchdown, then they would
win.
Right?
So they wanted to win right then and there, and it just didn't work out. But yeah, fun game. Fun to watch. Hopefully, we get it again in the postseason. As long as the Chargers don't get eliminated.
I don't think so. I think they're playing pretty well. I feel like I just don't know what happened last week to Chargers.
Yeah,
that's all.
Okay, real quick, players of the week, Lee. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the kicker from Jacksonville Jaguars, Matthew Wright. So, let me check, because I remember that he scored at 2 different points of the game, and those were the highlights, right? So with fourth quarter, 3 minutes and 45 seconds there, it was 17-20. So Dolphins were leading by 3 points, and this was a 54-yard field goal kick, and he made it, right? Somebody say like they need to check the football. There must be a magnet, because the ball, when they kick, it looks like it was gonna be outside the crossbar. It's not even close, and somehow when it gets closer to the bar, it kind of like went in, kind of like turned its corner and then went in. So somebody say like they need to check the football to make sure that there's no magnet in there or something. So that was a highlight, 20-20. Then at the very end, with 1 second left, Matthew Wright was brought out to kick the winning field goal. That one was 53 yards, and he made it, and then they won. So I thought that was really good. He's only a sophomore. Like the first year he played with the Steelers, and then somehow the second year with the Jacks, he kicked only 3 50-yard plus field goals, and he only missed 1 so far. So that's pretty decent. And this guy's tall. Like this guy is like 6 feet tall, actually. So like he's tall.
Yeah. Yeah, so my player of the week is Derrick Henry. And it was close, because I almost wanted to give it to Lamar, because Lamar, he did play really good. But at the end of the day, I think I had to go with Derrick Henry. He was like the sole reason why. Well, I guess not the sole reason. Ryan Tannehill played pretty good. But he was one of the reasons why the Titans remain competitive. And, I mean, you could just see it in his stats for in-game. In 20 attempts, he had 143 yards, and he averages 7.2 yards per play. He had 3 touchdowns against the Bills, and yeah, man, he's the number 1 running back in the NFL right now with 783 yards, which is
my goodness,
crazy.
And this looks like how many weeks we're in now? Like this is the week 7, right?
Yeah,
and he might have like 2,000 rushing yards by the end of the season, or more than that.
Probably, the way things are going. Yeah, it's crazy. And oh my goodness, I can't remember who it was, but this man stiff armed at least like 3 people during that game, and then they all looked nasty. Like, you couldn't pay me $1,000 to get stiff armed by this man.
Oh my god. Hey, we need to like for sure one day we need to like just like pick like the best stiff arm like moments there, like the best like stiff arm.
It's literally
like,
just
things.
gonna be Derrick Henry stiff arm compilations.
I know that must be so funny. Like I saw George Kittle, like so like some videos of George Kittle from Niners, like the tight end. He was doing that. Like, he was like stiff arm a bunch of guys. I'm just like, oh my goodness, that was crazy.
Yeah. All right, so that was our players for this week, and now we are heading into NFL Week 7 predictions. So we'll start with the Thursday night game, the Denver Broncos versus the Cleveland Browns. And like we mentioned before, why am I forgetting his name? Baker Mayfield. There you go. Baker Mayfield is not going to start for the Browns. So what do you think about this, Lee? Who do you got? Why?
I'm gonna get Broncos. As much as I don't trust Broncos, but I think I'm gonna go with Broncos.
I think this is wrong too. I think the Browns still have this because they do still have the best running duo in the NFL with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And I think Case Keenum is literally there to make a couple of short passes or to just hand the ball over to those 2 running backs. So I think Cleveland still got it. I think the defense is going to be a little iffier, but Denver's offense isn't great either. So
yeah, I know.
We'll see.
Maybe the Broncos would choke. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, the Panthers versus the New York Giants. Who do you got?
Let's go with the Panthers.
Yeah, I got the
Sorry,
Panthers.
but not sorry to the Giants, but they're not good.
Yeah, they're awful. And Carolina is just mid right now. So
Yeah, I think they lost like 3 games in a row, right? The Panthers.
have they? I think
Feels
so. Yeah, I think you're right.
So.
It's pretty bad. 3-3. So the Jets and the Patriots.
The Patriots will get this one.
Yeah, Patriots will get this one. It's a good rebound game. Jets suck. Just New York teams, except for the Bills. They're awful.
Yeah.
Kansas City and the Tennessee Titans. Who do you got?
Ooh, I think this is a great matchup. Like, I know. I think I have a tough time here.
I don't think it's even close. I think the Titans are going to mop the floor with them.
You think so?
I think so. I think Derrick Henry is just going to go ham on that defense. It's a terrible defense.
Yeah, the Chiefs' defense is not good this season. Yeah.
It's terrible. The only way they keep up is if Patrick Mahomes comes up with some magic during when they have the ball. Other than that, I don't trust the Chiefs' defense.
Yeah.
Well, bold prediction. I think Derrick Henry gets
another
170 yards.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot. Whoa.
Well,
he got Derrick Henry, right? So
he got 182 against Seattle.
That's amazing.
And their defense is better than Kansas City. So I got Tennessee. I got Titans winning.
You got Titans. Okay, yeah. I'll try to go with Chiefs and see what happens. Well, we'll see. Like, hopefully the Kansas City don't let me down. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, Washington, Green Bay. Who do you got?
Oh, I'll get Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay. They're just on a roll. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers doesn't say more. Or actually, hopefully he does. Give us some stuff to talk
it's
about.
kind of fun. Like when he says something, like sometimes he's kind of annoying. You don't want him to say anything, but
he's kind of like that employee who knows that he's going to be let go soon. So he's just having fun. He's just doing whatever. He's saying whatever's on his mind. And I love it.
But what if like he actually leads his team to like NFC Championship? Like I don't know what is
that'd
Green
be
Bay
crazy. I still think he leaves.
I mean, like, what is Green Bay gonna do? Is Jordan Love that great? I don't think so.
I think they'll still try to offer him the world, but given the like fractured relationship that they've seemed to be having, I
Well,
think
according to him, it was like philosophical differences.
it's the same deal. I think he leaves regardless.
Yeah, but I don't think he's gonna find a really good team to be able to go there. Like Broncos, I don't
Yeah,
know.
but Broncos are more likely to listen to Aaron Rodgers.
But I don't think the Broncos offense O line is that great. I mean, what is Bronco gonna do? Do they have a lot of money to spend on players? I don't
I
know.
guess could go to
I don't
Atlanta. They have some decent weapons.
Atlanta. I don't know. I don't know. Like I just feel like
this man
maybe
regurgitated at the sound of Aaron Rodgers playing in Atlanta. That's hilarious.
I'm just like, ugh. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know, man.
Okay, well, maybe not. Maybe that's too hot of a take. All
Uh-huh.
right. Speaking of Atlanta, Atlanta at Miami. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I just feel like I don't know what's going on with Dolphins. To be honest, they're just not good. Like they should have, beaten the Jaguars, but they didn't, right? So I'm gonna try to go with the Falcons on this
Yeah,
one. I think
Falcons
it's
got it.
gonna be close. I might be wrong.
I think it'll be close, but I think the Falcons probably got it.
Mm-hmm.
Cincy at Baltimore. This will truly be a test to see if the Bengals are legit or not. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I think they'll put up a good effort, but I don't think it'll be close. I think Baltimore still got it.
Yeah, they're like pretty scary team right now.
Yes. Now, the storyline I'm sure everyone will be talking about, the Detroit Lions versus the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh my God. I think the Rams will destroy them. I'm sorry, but
No,
I
they
think
they will. They will.
I just feel like Lions is no match.
No.
Like they lost to even like the not so good teams. Um so I don't know. Like I think it's gonna be super awkward to be honest, because on one hand you have like now you have like two different quarterbacks, right? So Stafford is now with the Lions, Stafford is with the Rams, and then Jared Goff is with the Lions. I think it's going to be a little bit awkward. There will be some awkwardness there, or maybe we feel there will be awkwardness, but not a close game, obviously.
Yeah. I'm sure for everyone who drinks, not me, but I'm sure for everyone who drinks, every time that they mention that these two traded quarterbacks, someone has to take a shot. So I'm sure it'll be said like about 1,000 times during this game.
Oh yeah. Well, they're gonna make a lot of money at whoever it is at the stadium or whatever. But yeah, not
It's
a
at
close
LA.
game. Mhm.
I'd be surprised if it's not just Rams fans. Have you ever met a Lions fan? I've never met a Lions fan.
No, just do gaming. Yeah, do gaming like play Call of Duty, Black Ops. I met a couple guys from Michigan, Ann Arbor, and
Oh, I
then
see.
they're Lions fan, and then they say like yeah, Lions suck, but they still support Lions. So I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you gotta love your team unconditionally. All right.
Yeah, that's easier said than done.
Yes. Philly at Las Vegas. Who do you got?
Oh, I think the Raiders will win this one.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think Jalen Hurts has been improving. He almost beat, well, not he, but the Philadelphia Eagles almost beat Tampa Bay. I
Mhm.
think Philly needs to prove something this week. I think they need to beat the Raiders. I think the Raiders are frauds, but that's just me. That's just maybe like
Yeah.
my AFC West rivalry with them. So I'm rooting for Philly here.
Yeah,
I
but
think they
you're
have the
right.
talent to do it.
I just feel like if the Eagles will lose this one, then they will be 2-5. I don't think that's good for them. So they should feel the sense of urgency to win this game. But at the same time, the Raiders are kind of weird too. Like just when I thought like last week they were supposed to lose, they're supposed to, according to my opinion, but they won. So like I really don't know. Like the Raiders are a little bit unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah. All right. What's next? Oh, Houston Texans at Arizona Cardinals.
Well, I think Cardinals gonna go undefeated again, like it's 7-0.
Yeah, there's no competition here. This is like a pseudo bye week for Arizona.
Yeah.
The Chicago Bears at Tampa Bay. Who do you got?
I think the Bucks will win this one.
Yeah, I think so too. Maybe it's closer than we're thinking, because, Tampa Bay has kept it close with a couple of teams that aren't like super high caliber, and they managed to squeeze by with wins. So I think maybe this happens again, and it's closer than we think, but Tampa Bay still wins at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now your game, the Indianapolis Colts versus the San Francisco 49ers. I already know.
I think the Niners really need to win this game.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I mean, 2-4, maybe it's all right, but no, not really. Like, you have to win so many games, like certain amount of games to be in playoffs. And so you want to keep winning. You don't stop, right? You have to keep winning because Cardinals are winning, Rams are winning, right? The only team that might continue to tank is Seahawks, right? But that shouldn't stop you from winning. So I think I'll go with the Niners on this one. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, the only way that the Niners get into the playoffs is if Arizona gets is the number one team in the NFC, and they get the bye, and then the Rams get the number one spot in the division, and that's the only way San Francisco gets into the playoffs.
Yeah,
but there's a lot to play, and we'll see how it develops. But yeah, objectively, I think I have maybe the Colts winning this one, but they've been sort of on the same level as the Indianapolis Colts have just been playing a little bit better. I think Indy wins this, although I wish the Niners would win it.
Yeah. I think it's going to be closer because, like, I think people were like, Colts is going to win this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. So Monday Night Football, New Orleans Saints versus Seattle Seahawks. Who do you got?
I think the Saints will get this one.
I think so. Seattle is just looking like trash with Geno Smith, and just things aren't looking good for Seattle. I think Russell Wilson's gone at the end of the season, like I mentioned before. Yeah, there's nothing much to say here. I think it'll be a boring game. Not a lot of interesting games this week, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, but maybe like we're probably gonna have one or two of those games where they go overtime, and then somehow, they win a game by a field goal or something.
Probably.
So maybe there will be a bunch of those.
Knowing these two last teams, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's everything that we planned on talking about. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we head out, Lee?
No. I think this is pretty good. Yeah, we'll see. Like, I can't wait. I kind of like expect like Aaron Rodgers to say something.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, like he's just hilarious right now. I think he brings us quite a bit of entertainment to the game. Like, yeah. But it's kind of fun.
We need more of that. We need more personalities in football.
And how come the other like QBs don't say anything? Well, maybe Tom Brady's did say something.
No, that honestly, that's what I hate about Herbert the most. If there's anything to hate, I don't necessarily hate it, but that's what I dislike most about Herbert is that we went from Phillip Rivers dadgummit and never cussing but being the greatest trash talker of all time to like the most well-behaved, like college student Justin Herbert guy, and he literally says nothing. Like, I think I was watching like a post-game interview, and some lady asked some really dumb question about a decision he made during the game, and he just like replied in the most like nice way possible. He said, "Oh well, we're not really focused during this game. We need to improve." And I was just like, dude, like I'm so surprised with his demeanor, but like he is kind of boring. Like he's not. I guess he's not a veteran in that sense. Like he has no like repertoire to be talking trash, anyways.
Yeah, I think you need to give him like if he play like a 5 or 6 seasons, maybe he will say something, right?
Yeah.
I think the veteran quarterbacks, they're kind of hilarious to listen to sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe minus Brady. I think Brady is kind of like diplomatic about it, but
if Brady hadn't like messed with the Chargers for so many seasons, I probably would find a lot of what he says to be funny.
Yeah, but then I think a lot of times he was comment things about like, oh yeah, NFL is being soft. I think Rodgers say that.
Oh wait,
too,
no, that I kind of agree and I kind of disagree, because I think the taunting penalties are stupid, and I think it was when he said that, it was in that context.
Yeah, the taunting is a little bit weird. Like when you say like, especially the game for Eagles, the guy didn't do anything, and then he got a taunting call. That doesn't make sense to me.
We'll see. Hopefully no ref ball this week. Well, yeah, I think that's it for this week. Follow me on Twitter at Zephyr the Scribe, and you can follow Lee, if he lets you follow him, at Amos Lee Huang. So I hope I didn't butcher that. And so for Lee, I'm Joseph, and we'll see you next time.
Right. See ya.